Hi, wowsoloist here, and this is a video to show you the Spirit of Eche'ro mount. There he is, standing right there. Okay, hold that for a minute. What is that guy doing there? Now, I didn't see a player around, so I thought, oh, okay, Blizz tossed this guy here to just nod and point you and say, gee, it's the 2 weeks of twice a year when this guy is available. But I came through 2 days later on my DK, who is my primary for my second account, and there was no moose there at all. So spooky, maybe? Who knows? Anyway, just that little detour, pointing and nodding that you should go and give him a proper burial and get him as a mount.
Hello.
So this quest is available from this archy trainer in New Dalaran, Legion Dalaran, and it's only available twice a year for 2 weeks. So if you don't pick up this quest that she just gave there and take it to Highmountain and dig up the bones of Eche'ro have been scattered all over Highmountain, and there's 600 of them, but you have 2 weeks max to do it. As of this particular episode, when I'm airing this and posting this up to YouTube, there's less than a week left. It only takes a couple of hours to do, but it has to be turned in on time. Otherwise, you'll have to wait till mid-February 2019 to do it again. So the quest you pick up in Dalaran sends you to the archaeology trainer in Highmountain. My bird is stuck in a piece of furniture there. Okay. And so she will give you the actual quest to go out and collect the bones. No one seems to know why his bones are scattered across all of Highmountain, but they are, and particularly, of course, in high mob areas. You're not surprised. But most of us right now are 110, so here, laying to rest is the real quest that actually gives you the mount. Of course, we're all that are doing this. They're in 115s, 117s, maybe even 120s. So killing off these mobs and clearing the areas to do the digging is really quite trivial, except for one area, which you'll see. So basically on your map, the dig areas are very, very tiny. The first one I got was the Haglands here. So of course there's lots of little mobs and medium-sized regular trash that's pretty much trivial these days, and a few little tiny mobs that are trivial as well. So what happens here is that you are going to dig like you normally would in archaeology, except that once you accept that quest, laying to rest, you will get a continuous set of archaeology digs in Highmountain. So you don't have to wait a few days for them to come back into Highmountain and they'll wander off to Azuna or whatever. No, there's a continuously always one. In most cases, I found there were actually 2 or 3 up at the same time. Sometimes there was only one, and it would force you to go to a nastier area. But normally there was a choice, and after doing the nastier area once, you could avoid having to do it again. It's nice that a little light comes on above your head now when you're close over the spot. It's not necessarily that accurate, just like the map isn't that accurate on any nodes anymore, it seems. But this little halo, it's a little glowing shovel over your head, indicates that you're very close to where the spot is. So this is just your regular archaeology. I had been ignoring archaeology since Mr. Pandaria, so I didn't even have Draenor level archaeology. I had Mr. Pandaria level archaeology on this particular tune, and she was about the second highest. Nobody had anything much higher than that. So I just like doing archaeology on druids. Now, here's the other thing that happens. Sometimes, every 10 or 20 or whatever, it will spawn an angry spirit. So this is just like when you're picking an herb. It spawns a little creature that every so often that gives you a bunch more herb. So in this case, she gives about 13 to 17 bones. Now, this thing has a bit of a rested mechanic built into it. I found here when I was first starting out that I was getting roughly, 2, 3, 4 bones per dig. And then I would get about 13 to 15 off the angry spirit. And I'd get an angry spirit every 10 or so digs. But after I started going through a few dig sites and completing a few, it started to give me only 1 per. So do be prepared that you're going to have to do a couple of hours. I think in general, I took some breaks, but I suspect it was only maybe about an hour and a half's worth of grind to do all the digging to get 600 bones. Because, here I'm a little over halfway, 2/3 of the way through this site, and I'm already, well up into the, 20, 30. I think by the time I left here, I was more than 56 bones. So you can estimate roughly from that. There's a lot of people doing it because it only happens in this 2-week interval. In most places, you will get a lot of help in clearing the mobs. So, like, there's some help over there. So you don't normally have to clear them all by yourself. It doesn't really matter anyway. One thing about the angry spirit, it also, as you do more work without resting, instead of every 10, it might be every 20 digs, or maybe even every 30 before you get the angry spirit. But then sometimes it drops 17. So the other thing is the taunt exploit, which was supposed to be fixed in BFA. Well, it's still there. And I think anyone who's been doing leveling in the world and doing bonus events and world quests and things has been seeing that the taunt exploit is alive and well in BFA again. The taunt exploit, unfortunately, sometimes works on angry spirits. I had one guy pull it away from me, and then he zigzagged off and trying to keep me from being able to right-click on to report him. So he knew what he was doing. So for sure, there is the possibility that you could lose or even sometimes share an angry spirit. Most of the time, though, I found if it wasn't mine, I couldn't click on it because I'm on a druid. I'm not doing guardian here, so I'm not taunting off of anybody. So all I'm going to do is show you this first one, and then we'll just go and do a quick synopsis of the various examples of the various places it leaves you. Because it also gives you, here's a complete dig, for example, because it also gives you normal Highmountain archaeology shards, you have to be careful that you have done your research to clear those shards. Otherwise, you'll be leaving normal Highmountain shards behind, so make sure that you're actually solving and crating and all of that stuff. I actually wound up getting, I think, 4 pristine solves during this particular event, which is cool. Not to mention that I also wound up going from Mist of Pandaria. I clicked over WOD Archaeology and also Legion Archaeology. So I'm already a chunk into BFA Archaeology, and I hadn't really planned on doing any for a while. Okay, WowSoloist here. The next place that we went to see had basilisks. So this is the area just north of Thunder Totem. And then the next place is the tough one. This one has Ettens. Yes, those Ettens. What was going on with this Etten? I sat and watched him for a minute because I wasn't sure what was going on. He seemed to have a whole pile of stags just sort of mesmerized by him. And he wasn't doing anything, but they were running around him, and it was just quite bizarre. Unfortunately, of course, hiding behind his bag of whatever here, milk. Of course, it's going to push me to go right within his zone. I tried not to aggro him, but nah. Okay, so it's time to kill some Etten. They're, of course, elites, and even though they're only 110 elites, they take a little bit of time. Again, this is a good zone to do, either in a group or wait until you see a few players around, so that you can take these guys down a little quicker. They don't drop anything interesting but gold, and they definitely get in your way. And I told the stags to go away now, but they seem to not care. The other thing with the Etten area is you get this glowing sound, and you get this glowing look on the particular drop. I don't know why. Now this zone where there's the skeletal dragon, this is where there is a World Quest event boss, but hopefully he's not there when you're there. If he is, then wait till he gets killed and then do your digging for a few minutes in between kills. When I did this one, there was a Legion invasion going on, and so you'll see that I actually wound up getting a Legion boss kill and my archaeology digs for that site in at the same time. Handy that way. So this is up near Skyhorn. Here's me having to do a solve. Of course, my bag was full. That happens a lot. I got a pristine, which of course fills your bags up too, and fills your quest log up, which of course, because I was leveling in BFA, my quest log was of course full. So all of the normal problems that you would expect in leveling and having to do this many digs at once. Okay, so this was an easy one, but if it's a world quest on there, it won't be so much fun. But since it was Legion invasion, there wasn't an invasion here. This is where the captive eagles are. Then there's one here in the water, which is very strange. You don't normally see archaeology in the water. Look, see, I'm at 399 already. That was probably only about an hour. Here is the bears. Which of course is the zone where one of the Legion bosses pats in the Legion invasion. So you'll see me take a break here from in the middle of a dig and go run off and kill a Legion boss and go back to digging. Hey. This tune has been dragging its heels a little bit because it's 1:15. It doesn't want to lose its Cephas proc. So as a feral, Cephas is very handy. But it's going to be 1:16 soon and got to give it up. There's a dead angry spirit there from somebody else. Often you'll find that they're not very original. All the spots are on top of each other, so probably doesn't hurt to actually dig if you see somebody standing there. And probably yours may be in that same zone. I think I got through this with only having to kill one bear.
Dispose of this threat at once.
Why dig when you can go kill a Legion boss? 1:15 really doesn't give you any benefit, but it's not hard either. So, just for the fun of it while we're here. Okay, and then this is the area with the captive animals.
This game will soon be at an end.
And cats. This is just on the border of the harpies with their captive animal traps. You do wind up in that area too. I didn't film it. And in this case, you've got cats. You're near the Nessingwary area in Highmountain. So some of these are an absolute bonus, that there's hardly any mobs or no mobs, and in other cases it's just a PETA, really. But now this is important because this is almost my last one. Woo, $5.99. Of course, you can't just get enough to get one. This was the next morning, so I was back to getting 4 in a dig again, as when I had almost finished. Okay, so very near Thunder Totem, just to the west, you'll see the spot. There's a little cave. And this is where you hand in to the same lady who gave it to you, but she's meeting you down here. What's in? There he is. So you've laid him to rest, brought all 600 of his bones together in one place. This is a little strange because you try to give the quest into her, and then she disappears and reappears over here, and you have to do it again. A little bug. And boom. It comes with its own achievement if you haven't gotten any of the other archaeology rares, which this character had not. And it gives you your mount. So of course we have to go out and try that out. Very misty day today in all of Azeroth. I think it's probably still ash from Teldrassil. Now, this is not a flying moose. Several people have put on the forums that they were sure this, with all this work, that this would be a flying moose, and they promptly flew off one of these cliffs and died. It is definitely not a flying moose. However, if it is a very cool moose, and if you are a hunter and you have the, as I do on one of my hunters, the Spirit Moose rare spawn hunter pet from Stormheim, the two of these would look so nice together. Okay, now that he's been laid to rest and his spirit has been revived, we should take him on a little tour and show him his land. And see that it's still looking good. This has a better movement feel, by the way, than the leather crafting moose. You don't rock around on this guy. You really do sit it like a horse, which is nice. So anyway, that's it. wowsoloist signing out. Make sure you get this before August 30th, 2018. Bye.